Hi, my name is Kelly Stair, and I'm the presenter of this webinar on online annotation. We're going to be using Scribble.com to show how you can use this annotation tool in your classrooms. I'm the author of VoiceThread for Digital Education. You can find access to that book as well as other resources that I've made at www.angrybunnypublishing.com, or you can email me directly at kellystair2013@gmail.com. So what's an annotation tool? Annotation is when you mark up a text. And so an annotation tool for online annotation is software that helps you annotate or add critical information such as explanations or comments to a document. Okay. So what do you do? Well, you can add commentary or explanations to the document for a better or deeper student understanding. Also, you can ask students to annotate documents, and that's going to be the focus of this particular webinar, is having students annotate documents to help them better understand or deeper understand what they are working on or what they're reading. In general, here are some things that students can do with annotation tools. They can see annotated texts or websites with teacher notes that guide their learning. Students can access differentiated texts with more or less direction or vocabulary or guided reading questions. They can read texts that are far above their reading level because they have scaffolded guidance. They can annotate their own text to demonstrate close reading. They can talk to the text, or T4, and they can summarize, predict, question, and use other reading comprehension strategies. So we're going to do a real quick share of how you use Scribble to annotate text. And I'm going to do a very, very easy, simple article that I found online, and I'm just going to show you the software. So this is an article from Psychology Today. It's called Right versus Happy, and we're just going to take a look at this part of the article and show some annotation. So what I'm going to do for this particular annotation, I'm just going to notice things that catch my interest. Any words that I don't know, I might highlight those and I'll pretend that I'm a student. And then maybe ask some questions or make some connections. So a very general annotation. I'm going to go to my bookmarklet for Scribble. You can get this bookmarklet from www.scribble with one B, SCRIBLE.com. So I'm going to get my bookmarklet up. So I've got my website and I've activated my toolbar. And so here's some of the things that I can do with Scribble. So as I read through this, maybe I want to highlight some things that are interesting and I'll go back to on my second read. And so I'd say, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? Okay, so that's kind of interesting. And then maybe I want to add a post-it note of the same color. Oops. Add a post-it note of the same color so that I can make my comments right there. So here's my personal connection. Would I rather be right or happy? I think being right would make me happy. So I guess being right. All right. And then I can move that post-it around. I can put it wherever I want it to go. And he says, I hope that you will oblige me in exploring the idea of choosing happiness. So if I'm a student, maybe I don't know what this word right here means. And so I want to make a list of the words I don't know. And so I highlighted it, and then maybe I put a post-it in here for that word. Okay, and I'm going to grab that post-it. Oops. Bring it over here, and then so I've got the word oblige. And maybe I decide, I guess it's, I hope you will, like, indulge me. So maybe it means something like indulge. That's my guess from the context clues. And then I continue reading. An irrefutable fact, I might highlight that in red also. And so my guess is going to be that that means a fact that can't be dismissed. Yeah. So I would set that one in there too. Basically, you have students engage with the text. They can make comments, connections. They can look at vocabulary. Whatever you set them up to do is what they can do. And so basically they go through this, and instead of just reading it and answering whatever questions you want, they read it and they engage with the text. And so you have a chance to really see what they're thinking as they read. And they can read this 3, 4, 5 times to get different things in there. So say you want to have students read a text for the words that they don't know and the connections that they might make, and maybe you're reading some literature and so you want them to see um, symbols or other figurative language. So you can have them do a read for each one and have them read it several times, and then for each one they use a different color, or for each read they use a different color, and share what they've got. A couple of other quick things that you can do with Scribble to help students annotate text. You can change the text color, so you can highlight a word and then go to the text color and make that text any other color. You can underline things, so pick a word and underline it. You can make a legend, and so this legend will mark all of the different things that you have done with the text. So we've got a yellow highlighter and a post-it note here. We've got a red highlighter and a post-it note here. We've got text that's in pink, and then we've got underlined text. And so students can create an annotation legend so that they know what each is. So this is my personal connection. The red was words I didn't know. The pink I didn't actually designate it, but I can decide what things are, and then they can use that and try to keep some consistency. You can also make a legend for them so that they know what they are doing for everything, as a reminder of the different steps that you want them to take when they're thinking about the text. Okay? So you can also create a permanent link, and your permanent link saves this web page as its own URL, which is kind of convenient. So this web page with all of the notes that I've taken is its own URL, and then you can send that or share it or save it or whatever. And so then you can also go to your library and you can open up all the things that you've done. So those are some of the ways that you can use Scribble as far as annotating text. Let's go ahead and get back to our presentation so that you can see some things that you can do with the actual annotations. Okay, so when I gave students in my AP Literature class text to annotate, we annotate for broad reads and we annotate for close reads. Close reads are when you really, really dig into something and tear it apart and try to make sense of all the different things that are involved in it. So my students would have short pieces of text that they were expected to close read. And so they would use Scribble to annotate their close read. Here is a list of things that I had them look for as they were close reading the text. So they're looking for unfamiliar words. So they're going to highlight and use context clues or the dictionary to figure out the meanings of words. And I also suggest that they open up dictionary.com so that in a separate tab so that they have access to it and makes it very easy. So if the context clues don't tell you what the word means, or even if you find it out from context clues, then you can go and check. They're also supposed to mark important plot points or places where the action turns, and note your ideas about what's going to happen next, how that plot twist or plot change is going to affect the characters, and make ideas with those plot points. They're also supposed to mark any conflicts with the protagonist. Okay, so any conflicts that the protagonist has, they want to pay attention to. Those conflicts can be with other characters, with society or its values. We did the Scarlet Letter, and so we had a lot of society and values, with external forces, or within the character herself. Also mark words and phrases that describe the personality of the main characters, and then record your ideas about those personalities. What motivates them, what are their fears, their dreams, their beliefs, their challenges, etc. And as well, you can evaluate those personality traits and say, yeah, I don't like this about this character. Okay, so personal evaluations. Also mark any symbols or things that represent other things, and record what these tangible objects may represent. There are lots of symbols in American literature, and so I ask kids to look for them. And I always pick a piece that has a symbol in it so that they can get that practice with symbols. Also mark any place where you can connect the theme, and our theme was showing cultural transfer from history to the present. So how does literature of the past help us understand our present day lives? And so they are making those connections to the theme. And then I also say feel free to make linked connections, which means if they have something in mind, just like, oh, this is like that place in that movie where this happened, that they can go to YouTube, they can go to the news, they can go wherever they have that information, and then make a link right in their notes. Okay. Here's some more markups, and this is a more generic set of markups. So this is what those were AP markups. This is something I might use as just in general as a language class. Ask questions. So if you're reading along and you're like, wait, what's going on? Or why did she think that? Or why did she do that? Ask those questions directly on the text to remind yourself that you have a question there. And then go back to those questions and see if you can answer them later. Also comment on the character. What do you think? How does the character change? What are those personality traits? And what do you think about them? Make comments on lines or quotations that you think are important or powerful or meaningful. So if something just jumps out at you and you're like, wow, that's good, make sure you make a comment about that. Why do you think that's good? Why was that powerful? Why was that meaningful to you? Also, you can agree or disagree with characters, with their actions, their beliefs, their ideas. You can summarize and make predictions. Students can connect to their own lives or to other texts, other things that they've seen or heard or read. They can also note if they experience an epiphany, one of those aha moments. It's like, oh, now I get it. You definitely want to mark where you have those moments. Also, things that you want to discuss, like, ooh, I would like to talk about this, or things that you don't understand. I'm so confused about this. Make sure you mark those. And then mark places where you see rhetoric in action. So how the author uses language, the effects of the diction or the syntax, the point of view, the repetition of words, phrases, actions, events, or any kind of pattern that happens in the text, the narrative pace, the time, the sequence of events, particular note of irony, contradictions, or juxtapositions. We go over allusions and symbols really quite a bit, and so I always have kids look for allusions or symbols. They might not always get the allusions because you have to have some background knowledge to get those, but they should get all the symbols. Figures of speech or literary devices, motifs, tone, mood, imagery, settings, and all of those things that have to do with how words are being used to convey. Okay? And that is online text annotation. My name is Kelly Stair. I'm a writer and teacher consultant. My work is found at www.angrybunnypublishing.com. If you like this presentation, you'll love my ebook, which is VoiceThread for Digital Education, and it's available at my Smashword site. If you use the coupon code ND26A, you can get 40% off all the way through the end of October. And that's good for anyone, even if you didn't see this. So you can feel free to share that coupon with other teachers on your Facebook page or Twitter account. If you need an e-reader, Adobe Digital Editions is excellent and free. So thank you very much and enjoy.